Welcome to the show. Now, if you're buying your first home, where do you start? How much money do you need? Who do you trust? And can you even pull this off? Especially in 2025. Is it even worth trying? Yeah, it is. And there's one way to help you find out where you are in the process. Get yourself the definitive must-have 10 steps for buying a home. This will finally get you the clarity, not only on where you are in the process today, but will also give you steps to move forward with a plan. Let's do this.
How to Buy a Home educates, protects, and connects first-time homebuyers to qualified vetted realtors in their area. Whether you're looking for DIY information or step-by-step guidance, How to Buy a Home is the #1 resource for first-time homebuyers.
What is up, homies? It's David Sidoni here, and if you are a regular listener, you know I've mentioned episode 164 before. It's like your syllabus before your final exam, something that helps you get everything you need to know to study to become a first-time home buyer. Well, I'm going to give you the 2025 version because everybody's going to need it. Whether you've been listening for a long time or you're brand new to the process, things are nuts right now. It's confusing. It's overwhelming. This is the process that nobody teaches you, but truly everybody should. I'm going to cut through the chaos and empower you with the real tools and the insider secrets. No BS. Just get you a clear path forward. I have been dropping this information for 20 years to buyers just like you. And since 2019, I've been doing it here on the podcast. And because most of what's out there is just not doing the trick. It's the industry and the internet just producing generic, straight up wrong garbage, to be honest. That's not me trying to flex. It's just me revealing that this system is so ass backwards. So we're going to find ways to beat it, give you the options. I know it kind of sucks for first-time homebuyers because there's not a lot of really experienced people talking to you because very few real estate pros really look at you as something that's going to help them build their business. But I'm here for you. And if you haven't checked me out before, if you're curious about my receipts, feel free to stalk me on social media, YouTube, howtobuyahome.com, and now with 365 podcasts dedicated just to first-time homebuyers. This is what I do. It's not a part-time thing. It's not a piece of my real estate business. This is all that I do is educate and empower. You're going to have to deal with some dad jokes and some funky metaphors while I break all this down for you, but here's what's happening. Back in early 2023, in that episode I talked about, 164, one day I woke up and it hit me. You know, I'd been helping first-time home buyers succeed, and everything that I ever learned on my own and also working with top realtors, people who had the same dedication, passion, and expertise as I did, well, bam, it just kind of clicked. It was the must-have step-by-step list for aspiring first-time home buyers and the perfect metaphorical tool that goes along with it to help you evaluate where you are right now today and help you determine your best practical custom steps to move forward, no matter where you are in your journey and no matter how small or magnanimous the steps you need to take. So here's the 2025 version of this. When people reach out asking for the steps to home ownership, they all want the same thing, a clear, simple roadmap to avoid the scams, skip all the traps, and land a solid deal. And again, in 2025, it's a bigger question. It's like, dude, can I even do this? And hell, should I even do it? Should I even try? Affordability is hampering the journey before it's begun for most people. And that's totally fair. This is happening to everybody, but other people are making it happen. And the proof is right here in the interviews on the podcast. There are a bunch of people that didn't have 20% down and that didn't get a 5.5% interest rate, but they still found a path to homeownership success. And here's the difference. There is no one path. Everyone is at a different starting place. So I know you just want me to give you a PDF with 10 steps and follow the lists and check them off, but here's the real. Not only is someone who gives you that giving you a sales pitch to click and bait you into thinking that it's easier than it is, it's just incomplete too. It's a lie. It's a list of 3, 5, or 10 steps means nothing unless it's actually tailored to your unique position in the journey. Which steps do you actually need to do? Which you need to skip? And who knows, maybe you're halfway down the list already. And anyone telling you otherwise, they're just chasing likes, clicks, and customers. You are not a generic individual, so you shouldn't accept generic advice. You're starting somewhere specific. Maybe you're far behind and maybe you're super way ahead. Where you start, that's what changes it from a sales pitch to a guided plan that you could put into practice. So here's the metaphor. It's Chutes and Ladders. Yeah, the board game, the kids' board game. Originally, it was called Snakes and Ladders back in 1890s Britain before being brought to the U.S. in 1943 by Milton Bradley. And today, 2025, I'm using it as the perfect way to visualize your home buying strategy. Think of the board as your path to buying a home. Now, the original game has 100 spaces. Let's blow that up a little bit. 100,000 squares on the board. Each one of those represents a unique position on your financial and home buying timeline. So every one of you out there is somewhere on the board. You be at square 386, square 10,052, square 81,437. Who knows where you are? But what we do know for sure is that you are all not starting in the same place. That is facts. A generic, here's your list with your first step. How can all your first steps be the same? The first step is going to depend entirely on where you're already standing. Everybody's got different things they should do first. Some people are deep in debt. Some people are doing great and saving like maniacs. Some people want to explore all their options before they even get moving. Some of you might be, just a few moves away from that big, candy, beautiful finish line. But be careful, because you don't even realize there's a giant chute ahead that could send you sliding way back on the board. Where you are on the Chutes and Ladders real estate board, it's everything. And once you connect with an experienced real estate support team that has your best interests at heart, not just somebody focused on how quickly they can get you to the top of the game so that that person can get paid, once you have someone who's going to help determine exactly where you are on the board, then you can build the steps, not only to help you get to the top of the board, but to help you get to the top of the board faster by making sure that you land on all the ladders and avoid all the chutes or snakes if you're from Britain or just like to roll with the old-timey game. I'm going to give you the 10 steps, but know this, they're not rigid commands. They're tools. They're anchors. They also help orient you to figure out where you are on the board, your individual board and your individual starting point. Because you could be chilling on square 2,574, needing to boost up your credit score, managing your debt differently, and stacking up your savings. Or you might be sitting on square 951,000, and all you need is a solid game plan to make sure that you don't blow it in the negotiations. So that's the way the game works. The 10 best steps that took me years and years to develop, I've detailed each and every single one of them in episode 301 through 310. And if you haven't listened to those, after you listen to this, go right back and get the full details in each individual step are built just for you and for your success in mind. Here's the steps to help guide you. Step 1 is decide. Step 2 is get a guide. Step 3, understand your credit score. Step 4 is tackling your debt. 5 is saving up. 6 is setting your goals. 7 is learning the lingo. 8 is doing your online research. 9 is test driving your future budget. And 10 is knowing the current market and how the game is played right now. Now that's the 10 steps. And maybe you notice something's missing. You didn't hear get pre-approved and you didn't hear find your perfect realtor. That's not because I forgot. It's because step 2 covers both of those things. It's not about just getting a recommendation or randomly Googling a lender or picking a realtor because you saw a yard sign somewhere or you got a recommendation to your friend's cousin's brother's neighbor. Step 2 is about changing your mindset in this process and discovering the secret to interviewing and hiring the best advocates for you. It's about locking in with real guides, people who know how to navigate this wild ride for you, know exactly where you are on the board, and know what best are your next steps to take. Not some faceless service provider who may even have ulterior motives. So yeah, this list is a little bit different, but that's what the podcast has been doing here for years. And now we're going to go through this simple list. It's insider hacks, personal strategies, and helping connect you to real pros who actually give a crap about helping first-time homebuyers win. Here's the steps. Again, full details start at episode 301, but I'm just going to zip through them real quick. Step 1, decide. Sounds silly, right? But that's it. Decide. Decide on what you do. And I'm not saying everybody should go out and buy a home right now. I don't know where you're at on the board. Maybe you can't, or maybe you shouldn't do this in 2025. But if buying a home is something that you ever want to do, then right now is the time to start preparing. I mean, even if you're waiting, you can still start preparing because you don't need to do a plan on your own. That's a big myth. If you find the right team, a unicorn team, they're going to help you, no obligation, right from the very beginning. The more that you wait without a plan, then unfortunately, the fewer options that you're going to have later on. And options, that's the key to getting a deal or landing your dream home. So you might as well start now, even when you don't think you're ready, and start stacking your chips. You're going to be gaining leverage. You're also going to be learning everything about how the board works. You don't have to commit to a purchase today. We're not saying get a pre-approval and let's go look at homes. No, just commit to a plan. So step 1 is decide. That's all. Now, I'm going to add one I didn't mention before. There's a little step 1A. It's believe. It's all over my office. I'm a giant Ted Lasso fan. But it actually really comes into play here in real estate. You have to believe. Before anything else, you have to believe this is possible. But this isn't like a fantasy, like, ooh, positive. No, I'm talking about believe in the numbers, which means you have to do the education behind it to understand. Because there are so many myths out there that are clouding people's judgments. There's fear and there's misinformation. And if you believe all that, of course, you're going to stall fast. So you have to kick the lies out of your head. I research what you, as a homebuyer, research every single day, 24/7. And I can tell you, the myths are omnipresent and they are wrong. You don't need 20% down. You don't need to make 6 figures. You don't need an 800 credit score or even 700. Truly, you don't even need a 600. I'm not saying you should buy with a 580 credit score. Is that ideal? No. But technically, you can get an approval. Sometimes you don't need 2 full years on the job. And sometimes you can buy a home even if you're self-employed. All these myths, that's what's holding people back. But with the right people guiding you, you can find all the options available to you. And the myths, they are totally based on outdated information. It's old advice, fear, and truly a complete misunderstanding of the real estate market and the lending market, especially when we're talking about what works for buyers in 2025 when things are getting a little tight. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter if you're renting for $750 a month and got $1,000 in the bank, or you're dropping $4,200 a month while you're making $200,000 a year with 6 figures in your savings account. If you look at the myths, that's going to stop all of you from looking to move forward. But I'm telling you, the math doesn't lie. But the emotions and the clickbaitness of the myth, that sure does. And the longer you let those lies run the show, the more money you're losing every day. There are stories everywhere in the interview episodes of the podcast. There's a full list that you could check out in the road trip episode. That's 360. These are real people who dug through the podcast, found the numbers, and that helped them believe because it showed them what was possible back in 2023, 2024, and even this first part of 2025 with high prices and high mortgage interest rates. And they uncovered the real factual numbers of a rent replacement strategy that worked for them. You can even listen to my story if you want to. I mean, yes, that was one of the main reasons why I started this podcast. Go back and listen to my sad 1990s rental story. It's all there in episode 98. It tells the story of when I was a clueless renter with no one in my corner. At 30, I could have been set for life. Instead, here I am with a new mission. That's you and your success. So you don't live the 30s and 40s I lived of woulda, coulda, shoulda. And then, at 49, start a podcast like I did to fix the world. So it's believe, and it's not believe in hype and theories. It's believe in the math. It's all there. Check it out. Step 2, get your guide. Not a YouTube channel, consultant, not a PDF, not a chat GPT thread, a real human being. You have to have the Yoda, the Sherpa, Dumbledore and Hagrid tag team, realtor and lender working with you. Wise and experienced unicorns, the ones who know how to work the Chutes and Ladders game board. These pros, the real ones, can spot what square you're on, show you the ladders, help you jump ahead, and steer you away from those giant invisible chutes to the rest of the world. That's why step 2 comes before things like get pre-approved, because a guide just doesn't help you fill out the forms. They help you strategize. And this is really important because I know that you've probably either read or heard a whole bunch of first-time homebuyer horror stories with realtors and lenders. Unfortunately, those stories exist because they're based on this painful truth. Most of this industry is built around closing deals, not helping people in the process to get to the deal. There are 3 million licensed agents out there with 2,999,000 of them that don't give a damn about first-time homebuyers, which leaves you with that small little group of people that will actually help you early in your process. And some of them might offer that to you, but they don't have the experience to know what to do. They've never even seen the board before. And yeah, I made up the 2,999,000. It sounds like I'm just being mean, but it's truly mathematically backed up, because in 2024, 71% of licensed agents didn't sell one home, not one. And here in 2025, the freaking National Association of Realtors is still telling us that 87% of realtors don't last 5 years in the industry. The numbers are just mind-blowing, and they've been that way since I got into real estate. And it's the same for lenders. In fact, it's worse. In 2021, there were 178,000 mortgage loan originators. That's the people who do the lenders for home loans. 178,000 in 2021. In 2025, there are 73,000, a 59% drop in the industry. Why? Because rates went up and it's hard. And if the fruit's not so low that it hits them in the head, people bail. That's why this step is so important. Understanding the 3 major things that you need to be extremely aware of when you hire your real estate support team is huge. Number 1, understand the way the industry works, and you can protect yourself and hire a team that has the experience to help you come to a successful result. If you just Google somebody or take a recommendation without vetting them, the industry math and the odds are stacked against a positive outcome. And number 2, there is a specific best fit of a team for first-time homebuyers. And that is pros that have systematic ways to help you plan. They don't just open doors for you, and they don't just plug in your numbers to give you an algorithm to see if you can buy. You have different needs than other buyers, and you have vastly different needs from home sellers. So your advocate has to have first-time homebuyer prioritization and systems to help you through the entire process. And the third thing to keep in mind is know how the real estate industry and the people that you're going to ask to help you, know how they see the Chutes and Ladders game board. I mean, real estate is set up that the realtors and lenders only get paid when you get to square 100,000, when you close on a house. So you need to find out, how do they prioritize you if you're sitting on square 582? The answer for a lot of them is they don't. They want you all to do the climbing up the board by yourself on your own. And then just call them when you hit square, 975,000, so they can get paid as quickly and as easily as possible. That's why I started this podcast, to flip the system, to show you that it doesn't have to be this way. And now here we are, 2 million downloads later, with over 80 real stories from real buyers interviewed here on the show. People realizing that they didn't have to do all this alone. People who found a team, finding someone who's willing to help you figure out where you are, what square you're at, meet you there at that square, even if it's in the 400 or 500s, and then walk with you step by step, avoiding chutes, finding ladders, and take you all the way to the top. If you want more about finding your own unicorn team, that's in episode 303. Now, I know the steps that I'm giving right now, especially the first three, it's a little different than what you hear from everyone else. And if you're thinking, man, this goes against everything I ever heard, yeah, you're right. It does. That's why it works. Okay, the first 3 steps are crucial to your journey. This is make or break for all the remaining 7 steps. So if you skip those first 3 steps or you don't completely embrace them, success is much harder to achieve no matter your timeline, and definitely if you're trying to do this in the difficult 2025 market. But the good news is the education is all here for you. And the people that you need to guide you are out there. Not so easy to find, but they're out there. Actual professionals who want to help you and will spend the time to help build your best plan. People who care, people who excel at this. People who see you as a person, not just a paycheck. Okay, on to the next steps. Now, you probably heard of a lot of them, but let me be clear, don't skip ahead. Don't try to cast a spell without learning from Dumbledore first. Don't try to lift an X-Wing fighter out of the swamp until Yoda knows you know how to use the Force. These steps go smoother, I mean way smoother, when you've got a team guiding you. That's the point of my goofy metaphors. The next steps have practical and actionable details in the full episodes. They're starting at, I guess, 305. And you should listen to them in order, even if you've already listened to them, because these steps and strategies change every month as you progress in your personal process and move up the board. Step number 3, work on your credit score. Now, what sucks about this right now is the way the whole industry works right now is they expect you to work on this on your own and figure it out by yourself. Why? Well, because they don't get paid till the very end of the game, and helping you takes time. But with a support team, a unicorn realtor, and a lender, this step doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's strategic and powerful. And then you add to step 3, steps 4 and 5, because you're going to be doing them together. So episode 304, that gives you credit scores with all the steps you can take. Everything's in there. Then you mix in step 4, getting a handle on your debt, and step 5, saving money. These 3 steps, credit score, debt, and savings, they all happen simultaneously. And you don't need a full-blown financial makeover to do them. You could take simple baby steps. And in fact, somewhere in episodes 304, 5, and 6, there's even a 3-step guide in under 5 minutes. You could do 3 things, 1 for each step, in under 5 minutes to start your home buying journey. Now, I know some of you are thinking, dude, wow, if that's the way this works, then why is working on a credit score step 3? I mean, if you're going to give me action steps I can do on my own in under 5 minutes, why do I need to gather my team first? I just wanted to start, and then I can call people to help me figure out where I am on the stupid Chutes and Ladder board. That's the whole point. Everything that you do can be better improved when you have the right people working with you. Yes, you can do all this stuff solo, but if you hire these people, if you're looking for the top 0.5% of the people in the industry, which, by the way, you can find, it's not as challenging as it sounds, you can work with the very best in the industry, assisting you in all the planning. And that planning period is done with 0 money out of your pocket. They can give you the best steps for your personal journey, and they can tweak and improve everything that you're doing moving forward. So your real estate support team is going to level up everything that you do trying to plan to buy a home. They're going to take the time to learn about you, your life, your finances, your goals, and then they're going to guide you in all of these steps. So steps 3, 4, and 5, all detailed out in 301 to 310 there. That's your credit score, your debt, and your savings, something we call the big 3. Getting those in order, that can help you create your last lease ever with some simple action steps you can do. All right, now a quick reminder before I move on to step 6 through 10. All of these happen while you work on steps 3, 4, and 5. Those you start first, and you keep running those in the background. This is critical to achieving your maximum success. And in the illogical 2025 housing market, you need those big three locked in. And one of the reasons we start with those is because they take time. The more time you spend on them, the better your results. So start with those first, and then we get to 6 and 10. Meanwhile, you're multitasking steps 3, 4, and 5 while you jump into step 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Step 6, set your goals. It's all about clarity and momentum. Once you have a team supporting your plan, not just a sale, then you can align your goals with a plan, slap it all together. That's episode 307. Dig deep into that. It's an important one. Step 7, learn the lingo. I mean, how do you gain confidence in the first-time home buying planning process? Well, one way is to understand what the hell all these words are that everyone's saying. So I broke it down in everyday language. All the real estate terms and definitions you need to know from A to Z. There's a few dad jokes in there. Sorry about that. Starts at episode 94. The knowledge that you gain in there is going to help with tens of thousands of squares on the Chutes and Ladder board. Knowing this stuff helps you take the steps a little faster with a little more confidence. Then we go to step 8, get online. It kind of goes against a lot of what I say about how a lot of stuff online is wrong, but this is how to use the online tools for yourself. Buying a home is a partnership with you and your unicorn support team. You can use the internet to not only increase your information and your education, but you can also use it to help keep motivated, because that's the fun stuff, looking at houses, right? You got to do that while you're stacking your goals and saving your cash. And nothing lights a fire like visualizing those dream results. So episode 308, I basically encourage you and show you all the tips and tools of how to do stalking, neighborhoods, homes, all that stuff. I'm going to help you get deep into this so you can really get details in your dream neighborhood. We go way deeper than just looking at houses like Zillow porn. There are hacks, apps, and website suggestions in this episode. Step 8. Step 9. We're getting close now, so it's time to practice adulting with new payments. This is where we're getting real. Once you've nailed down your price range and your team has helped you map out your numbers, including your monthly payment, it's time to rehearse that payment. Start paying that before you buy. And I know right now in 2025, the math looks like it's working against you, since almost everywhere mortgage payments are higher than the matching rents in the areas. That's why in episode 355, I broke down the full math far beyond just the monthly rent payment versus a mortgage. And in the last episode, I talked about buying a home with high interest rates. But if you haven't taken a look at the full picture, done a little 1A believing that I talked about earlier, then maybe you don't have the confidence in a rent replacement strategy. So get that confidence and then use this step to help you realize and understand your personal number could be higher than your rent right now. So you need to practice paying that. Figure out the gap between your current rent and your estimated mortgage. And then every month, put that extra that you would pay for a new mortgage into your savings account. I mean, you're saving up for a down payment and closing costs anyway. It's a great way to do it. Practice living on that higher budget now. You're used to the cost, and you're going to build up your security and your savings and start gaining momentum and faith in yourself. No surprises. It's a solid test and preparation. And then step 10, it's understanding the current market, but I'm calling the step, stop listening to people who haven't bought a home in the last 4 weeks. Yes, I mean it. Last 4 weeks. Not 4 months ago even. Not 4 years ago for sure. And certainly not from your Uncle Bob or your Aunt Jamie, who got a killer deal on a house that they bought in 2011. 2025 is so unique, and only the informed and knowledgeable people who are actually involved in the current market, not just, month to month, but day to day, only those people are going to be the people that are going to be able to find the best opportunities for you. The people who are going to be help you find your advantages. The people who are going to be standing behind you and showing you exactly what can happen, because they do this every day with tons of different people. And that means you and your unicorn team need to cut through the noise and know what's really going on in this unusual market and the market that you're going to buy a home. Okay, there you go. 10 steps. You have some homework to do, but you don't have to do this alone. You can get a tutor immediately by going to howtobuyahome.com and asking for a local unicorn team to help you. And you can do that while you're still listening, researching, and gaining the confidence that you need to work the absolute best custom plan designed for you. You may have noticed the last couple months of podcasts, they've been some dense, heavy, analytical, and mathematical information. This is my immediate reaction to the fear in 2025 that's causing so many hopeful first-time home buyers to abandon ship. There is more than hope in what I'm trying to put out here on the podcast, more than theory. There are results, interviews with first-time homebuyers from 19 to 59 years old from all walks of life, credit scores, even a 0 credit score. I think that guy bought in 8 months. Student debt, people have $200,000 and $300,000 in debt. And savings, I mean, the numbers of stories we've had in the past year or two with people who had $2,000 or $5,000 to start and ended up figuring out what to do because they had the right team, it's incredible. And on the other side of things, there are people with 6 figures in savings and great jobs, but they were still scared and they found a way to better allocate their funds to maximize the best purchase for them. So look, if you made it this far in the episode, I mean, it's got to mean something to you. You want this. And you know what? I know you deserve this. I mean, these people out there, they did it. They had the same fears. They had the same doubts. They had the same maybe one day thoughts running through their heads. But the difference? They started. They decided. They believed. They didn't just research, they took action. They found their guides, they avoided the chutes, they climbed the ladders, and now they're homeowners. So now it's your turn. Be the hero in your story. Take that first step. And always remember, you can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuy.com to get started.